Buongiorno a tutti, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. When in 2021, in the frantic hour between 20 and 22 of April, the opponents of the Super League spoke of people's football to recall that slogan became a formula to recall the good guy, I mean UEFA, FIFA, domestic league, national federation, and the bad guy of the Super League, who were the football of the rich, which is quite funny because I honestly don't think that the top football, there's any top football that could be considered the football of the poor. They are all a football of the rich, but you know populism has a very evocative dialectic. Well, in these 3 years, I wondered who is wrong and who is right a lot of time, and what is the best for the future of football. And I came to a lot of conclusions, and that are not always consistent with each other. In fact, I changed my mind many times. But I came to one absolute sure thing, that there is no bad guy and good guy in this story. There are maybe new and old generations. There may be fresh ideas and dusty idea, maybe idea that can be done and idea that can't be done. And since the CGA ruling of the last December, there is a free market on which to play the game of the future of football. And today we are chatting about that future with someone who designed one kind of future, Bernd Reichart, the CEO of A22, the company that is planning a new competition, call it Super League or whatever you want. And we are, in the next half hour, we are trying to explore his theory about the future of football, that the much needed and mentioned sustainability can be reached only by giving the fans more involvement and better experience. So we are not talking about the people, rich or poor or whatever, but we are talking about the fans today. And so, Bernd, let's start from here. And I ask you, in your opinion, today's football is caring enough about the fans?
Ciao Guido, buongiorno a tutti. I don't think so, actually. Even though, as you just said, we are often publicly doubted, we put the fans in the heart of everything we do, and the project is a club initiative, and clubs tend to be as close as possible to the interests of their fans. Currently, I don't think that fans are cared enough, because we are convinced that the competition is not as thrilling and as exciting as it should be, as it could be, from match day 1 to the last match day, really captivating audiences in a very attractive format. There is room for improvement, which we believe. And on the other hand, it's obvious to all of you that access to football has become terribly difficult. The hurdles you have to take, even economic hurdles, are huge, and a lot of fans are simply priced out. It's unaffordable for them to follow your team and to follow all the matches, and that reduces the engagement of fans worldwide.
Talking about the cost, football is so expensive for the fans now. I mean, in Italy it is. And how does it lose money if it's so expensive football? The fans pay so much. Why the clubs lose so much money?
Well, if you want to put it in very simple economic terms, then you have less and less fans paying more and more, and that, as I just said, that pushes a lot of fans to either disconnect from the sport, or because there are other alternatives, attractive alternatives, or to be pushed and feel pushed into piracy. I mean, we can look at other industry who had huge piracy issues as well in the past, like the movie industry or the music industry. It was almost existential for them, the piracy issue. But the solution was offer all the interested people in their content, offer them an attractive, convenient, cheap, global, simple solution. That solved the problem. And in that sense also our ambition is what we call Unify, offer the fans one platform to onboard where they can watch the matches in a basic way for free, but also in a premium subscription, onboard all the fans into an attractive one platform where everybody can access, and actually where fans finally have a direct relation to the clubs who own and operate that platform. That is where we believe sustainability arises, with the broadest possible engagement of fans with the clubs and with the competition. There are arising additional revenues in the D2C world, but above all, advertising, subscription, and additional revenues can actually manage directly with fans and clubs, because in the end, it's the most loyal, lifelong relationship a club can have. One executive I every now and then talk to say it's easier to see people change their partner or change their religion than change their club. So people want to engage with your club, but they have to be offered one convenient tool, and that's what we try to provide.
If I think to my life in the last 20 years was changed by application. Basically, I think everyone's life was changed by application, from WhatsApp or any social media. Has really changed our habits, changed our life, ruined our life somehow, or make it better. So could Unify, that I see as something between Spotify and YouTube, but I don't know if I'm right. But the question is, could this app change the way the fans go through football and consume in somehow football?
I think it will definitely foster their engagement with the sport if it's one platform where they have a variety of content, where they see the matches, where they have all the content around the matches, and where they actually have one platform to engage with clubs or amongst them other. And it's something that has been invented already. Fans are used to use the platforms and the apps you're just mentioning. It's just football catching up with a technology that is already existing. We just need to embrace it, develop it. Of course, we have to rely on big global tech players who are able to provide the technological infrastructure, but the fans are already used to that, and why should they accept football deliver lower than other sports, for example, or than other entertainment experience they have at their fingertips in their applications or on their big screen?
But if the question is, if there are these technological possibility, why nobody has done this app before so far?
Guido, that's not true, because there was a first wave of big streaming platforms: Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. Now there's a second or even a third wave. Peacock, HBO, you name it, Paramount Plus. But even sports operators like the NFL Plus or NBA or Formula One, they use their own and operated streaming platforms to play an ever more important role in their global distribution. So they already have D2C platforms where they, not intermediaries, where they have the direct relationship with their fans. And that's a huge opportunity. For example, also just think about the women's game. If there is a platform that is captivating and onboarding football fans around the globe, that's what they really need, exposure and visibility. And so it's a hell of a project. It needs good and resilient technological support, but it's not something that haven't been done before.
No, the question was why not in football? I mean, the most popular sport in the world, the sport that collects the most.
I mean, some domestic national leagues are trying to launch streaming platforms in order to cover some territories around the world where they can make use of it, but it's particularly difficult out of a domestic market to launch global streaming platforms.
An app has to be global.
First, technological risk, but also the commercial risk. Football industry is used to live with minimum guarantees of a broadcaster, of an auction that steps in and that guarantees for the next 3 years a revenue stream, which we are assuming as well. We need to provide clubs with the minimum guarantees. They will not share the risk of building and launching a platform. But apart from that, having the best European football competition, which is our ambition, to drive fan engagement and to actually have the ambition of hundreds of millions of fans onboarding to that platform, is a different animal and a different ball game, and it can actually be an infrastructure available for domestic leagues as well in the future at any time. So maybe it's just the right timing and the right product to continue to drive the business model with advertising and subscription and D2C revenues. And I personally, coming from the broadcasting and media side, I truly believe that advertising is also something that will have a big renaissance in sports. The free product, the free proposition. In the past, the corresponding vases, they were like going far to the pay side and reduce the advertising side. The possibility of having a global exposure and global audiences and market the best possible live product to advertisers around the world, with broadcasters not delivering those audiences anymore, is a huge potential which we would like to explore as well.
How many users could have Unify in the world? Do you figure out something?
I mean, in order to give data which we have available, or everybody has available, the way FIFA talks about 5 billion football fans. I think that is a very aggressive number. The Champions League final is watched, estimated by 400 million, so just the final. So we're running several scenarios, but I think it's going to be several hundred millions.
And let's go back to the start of my speech. And a year ago, after the CGA ruling, was opened a completely new scenario. How did it change the attitude of the club, the CGA ruling of December 23?
Well, it did help them to just out in the open engage and try to understand our initiative, try to contribute, try to learn about our legal interpretation of the ECJ case, discuss about the format and about what they really believe is important in case of any modification. They discuss about the governance. Why do they have a say in their domestic leagues, national leagues, but not internationally? And of course we talk about Unify, because every club in Europe has the ambition to be more digital and more international. But it's hard out of a city in Europe, as a club in Europe, to become more global and more digital. So this is something where a competition that is run and operated by the clubs themselves can actually be of a good help. So yeah, it enabled us to engage with more and more clubs, and they know that they don't have to fear sanctions anymore by talking to their peers and discussing alternative ideas, which is all we want, actually.
They're a little bit more relaxed now.
They are.
But there are still clubs that fully reject the idea of a Super League, of another competition.
Well, there still might be a few. I mean, my experience is that the closer those executives are to the center of power of the monopoly, the less they can imagine a club-run international competition, which is kind of contradictory because they all are part of a club-run competition nationally. But more and more, even if they have maybe a contrary position, they also engage and feel free to inform themselves about in which direction we are actually working. And I do believe that sustainability with fan engagement is the direction of travel no matter what. It's obvious, and football either catches that train or it might be too late.
And what do you think about the new Champions League formula?
I think fans don't like it, and I don't like it. But I try to explain. I think it feels as if every club plays its own tournament disconnected from anybody else, disconnected even from the rivals, and then they are thrown into one single table, which is actually hard to keep track on. I also think that fans miss the tradition of home and away. I think it is perceived as something unfair if I visit your stadium, but actually you're not coming for the rematch to our place. And I think what hasn't been achieved is the reduction of what they call dead rubbers. I think it creates even more inconsequential matches. If there's a UEFA statistic says that you need 7.6 points in order to pass to the next round, 7.6 points out of 8 matches, it suggests already how easy you can be early stage over the top or below the top. So I think that is probably the biggest difficulties. But as I said, it should be clubs and clubs only who decide about the format of which their clubs are playing. It shouldn't be imposed, and we can't, but we're not imposing, we are proposing. If our idea is not good enough, it will not prosper. But we believe with all the dialogues which we are having, we're actually working on something that can achieve the goal of having a broad consensus.
In the presentation of the regional project, I mean the one of April 2021, it was explicitly stated that the new competition was subject to the approval of UEFA and FIFA. Is that possibility still there? I mean, build a new competition under the umbrella of a big confederation like FIFA or UEFA? Because I remember that what did the Super League stated in April 2021 to April 21, I don't remember exactly the day, maybe the 20th of April, that was stated that you need the approval of UEFA. You still working on something that could be approved by UEFA and FIFA?
Well, actually the whole, if I understand you right, the whole court case was this initiative claiming the right to propose an alternative idea within the current system. It was not we fight in order to break away or leave the system. It was the fight to claim a fundamental right to compete with the best ideas without leaving the system. That has to be remembered. It needed a court case, which is kind of stunning, but it wasn't to divide or to destroy anything. It was to be able, in the heart of Europe, to be able to compete with an alternative ideas and not being shut down just because there is only one idea that should prevail.
You presented a competition in last December. That format is definitive, or you're still working on it? Could be changes on what you presented a year ago?
We do like it, and it's built upon already a lot of club input, but it's a proposal, and as being a proposal, it's always up for modification. It's an initiative that is by clubs, for clubs, and whenever people come with new ideas and say, look, or the experience of the current Champions League, good or bad, I think we should have to be able to factor that in. We want to have a convincing package for most clubs with a European ambition in Europe, and if it needs to twist and peak some of the format aspects, we will do.
The players complain about they are playing too much games. The clubs complain that there are too much game of the national teams. And what is the balance that you think you could reach with your competition?
Well, as of today, we are designing our project with the slots of European match days that there are in the current calendar. But I do personally believe that a calendar shouldn't be decided like top down. You have to involve actors like the players, or why are clubs not even involved, which are the employers of those players? So I think more transparent, fair process and governance in order to design a calendar is obligatory. And what we're trying to work on our format is that clubs have a better visibility how many matches they are playing in Europe in order also to adequately staff their roster much better. So I think there is a lot of reform to be done also in that aspect, and it cannot be that one organization just drops a new format into the calendar and clubs and players have to just swallow it.
So we are at the end. The question of the question is, where are you? Which point are you? When will a new competition can start?
Let's say, being here in Rome, I can't resist the temptation of saying Rome wasn't built in a day. So it was, it needed legal certainty, which we have achieved. It needs a consensus on this competition would actually improve the fan experience and the excitement of the tournament. It would address governance issues and it would derive sustainability for clubs in a new economic model where clubs finally enter into a direct relationship with their fans worldwide. So currently we have legal certainty. That's a positive aspect. We still have to interpret it all together. We're reaching out to the clubs to contribute to the best possible format there is, and there's a lot of work currently going into getting a technology up and ready that is implementing and realizing the unified vision which we shared with the world and which we continue to share with every stakeholder.
So, a couple of years?
Good guess.
Okay. Thank you.
Grazie Bernd. Grazie Guido. Grazie.